Welcome back to Titleholder Talks with Emily. I'm so thrilled to have you all with me on this episode today. Our special guest is an incredible human being and the first national title holder that I'm getting to interview on this podcast. So I cannot wait to talk to her and hear all of her wonderful stories and experiences. Titleholder Talks with Emily is a podcast all about showcasing the stories and experiences of title holders across all different pageant systems. See you when our special guest joins. Hi, everyone. We have a very special guest joining us on the podcast today. So, Berkley, if you want to introduce yourself, go right ahead.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Berkley Bryant, and I am Miss Volunteer America 2025. So I'm super excited to be here.
This is so exciting because, not only is this one of my first interviews with somebody from the Miss Volunteer America system, but this is my first interview with a national title holder, which is so surreal to me. And also, like I mentioned to you before, but everybody watching doesn't know, I've been following Berkley since she was Miss South Carolina teen in the Miss America program. So it's so awesome to get to kind of chat with her today. But to jump right into the questions that I have for you, first and foremost, how did you get your start in pageantry, and then how did you transition over into the Miss Volunteer America system?
Sure. So I started competing in pageantry when I was 13 years old, and it was actually in the Miss America organization. So I competed several times as a teen. And then, like you mentioned, I won Miss South Carolina Teen or Outstanding Teen back in the day, and then competed at Miss America's Outstanding Teen. So that's kind of where my pageant journey began. And then transitioned into college. So I went to Clemson University and I took a break for a few years and then competed a couple more times and found myself drawn to Miss Volunteer America. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but I'll start with the fact that back in when I was younger, I felt like Miss Volunteer America today is exactly who Miss America was when I was younger. And it's exactly the epitome of what young women looked up to when I was a little girl. And so when I grew up, my mom actually competed in pageantry in Texas back in the day. So I kind of had that as an idol looking at growing up. And then my dad served in the military for 20 years. And so kind of combining that service component with pageantry and the glamour that we all saw on television, that's who Miss Volunteer America was. And that's how I became involved in Miss Volunteer America. I competed at the state level at Miss South Carolina Volunteer, really took a chance with that. And the rest is history. So who would have thought that this is where I would end up? It certainly wouldn't be me if someone would tell me that. So I'm thrilled to be in this position, and it's just been an honor.
That is so awesome. Like I mentioned earlier, getting to follow your journey from a teen in a different organization and then see you transition into college and into life, and then, compete as a Miss a couple times and then transition again into the Miss Volunteer America system and then bring home the national title. It's so amazing to watch, and especially for me, it's so inspiring to see, like, you got your yes as a teen, but then you wanted to continue to serve and volunteer and do
Right.
everything that your parents instilled in you and things that you were passionate about, and you went
Right.
and you continued to do that. And now,
Yeah.
after a couple no's, you got this big yes, and it's
Yes.
so exciting. And following your first about month of your year has been so incredible, and I cannot wait to see all of the wonderful things that you
Oh,
continue to do as Miss Volunteer America.
oh, thank you. And I'm glad you said that about getting the no's and then finally getting the yes, because a lot of people think, oh, well, you won a state title as a teen. Why would you continue? And I feel like for me, a big driver of that was scholarship money. So as I mentioned, I went to Clemson University, and so when I was pursuing those dreams and I was dancing and really having the best 4 years as an undergraduate, I also was accumulating student loans along the way, right? And so being able to compete for Miss South Carolina Volunteer opened up a world of opportunities for me, because now, and then even on top of that, winning Miss Volunteer America, I won even more scholarship money. So over $50,000 in scholarships. And for me, that wiped away all of my student debt. And so now I can officially say that I'm debt free, which is super exciting thanks to Miss Volunteer America. But on top of that, I can now pursue a master's degree. And it's never something that I thought I could do without having to worry about how I'm going to pay for it, right? And so for me, that's a huge driver as to why I competed in Miss Volunteer America and continue to chase those dreams. And I hope to inspire those little ones out there that they need to be reminded that you can achieve those goals that you set for yourself at a young age. And a lot of times we get lost in different things along the way. But if you really stay the course and focus on those dreams, you really can achieve them. So
I absolutely 110% agree. And I think for me, especially, that's one of the main reasons why I compete in the scholarship competitions or the pageants that have scholarship money. As an incoming sophomore in college, like you mentioned, college is expensive. You accumulate student loans,
exactly. Yeah.
student debt,
Not
and
cheap.
getting to compete and have fun and do things that you love, like you mentioned, like dancing or
Yeah.
other thing, like going out and serving the community and competing and meeting all of these
Right.
friends as well. It kind of helps you transition into that, oh my gosh, like I get to do all these things while helping to pay like my college. It's so
Exactly.
cool. But since you mentioned
So
it,
many reasons. So many reasons why.
yes, absolutely. But since you mentioned, $50,000 in scholarship money
Yes.
is incredible. And I know, obviously competing in the Miss America opportunity, you won scholarship money. Competing in Miss Volunteer America organization, you won
Yes.
scholarship money. And you mentioned a little bit, but can you tell us further about what you're planning to do with your scholarship dollars that you have earned competing all the
Yeah.
years that you've been competing so far?
Sure. So as I mentioned, all of my student debt is completely wiped away. And so now so backstory, I graduated from Clemson University in May of 2023 with an undergraduate degree, a marketing degree. And then I also with a Bachelor of Science degree in marketing and a minor in biological sciences. So that's the official degree that I have currently. And then I hope to pursue a Master of Business Administration. So with that, I hope to also attend Clemson University for that degree. Fun fact, I actually was accepted to the program last August. Or prior to August, I would have started last August in 2023, but then won Miss South Carolina Volunteer. And with that, I really wanted to take that program to the next level in the Miss Volunteer America program and really treated it like a job. There were so many partnerships that I wanted to capitalize on and really serve with throughout the year. And so I really treated it as a year of service. And that was a choice made by me. You don't have to stop schooling or anything like that throughout your year. That was a choice that I made. And then I was going to defer, which I did, to 2024. Now here we are. It's August 2024, and I've won Miss Volunteer America. So with that, I have been traveling nonstop since I won, since the crown was placed on my head. And so obviously deferring once again was going to be a necessity. And so I do plan to pursue a Master of Business Administration once my year is up as Miss Volunteer America. And thanks to them, it'll be completely paid for. So that $50,000 will go directly towards that Master of Business Administration degree, which I'm so thankful for.
That is so exciting, and also to anybody listening, so hopeful to get to again have the opportunity to do all of these things that you love and are passionate about,
Right.
while also, excuse me, winning the scholarship money to help, not maybe only pay for your undergraduate degree, but also pay for a master's, or for so many other girls that I know, like go and pay for like nursing school or go to be a doctor or for law school or anything like that.
Yes.
It's so fulfilling,
Correct.
and it gives you hope because you're like, if there are things that you may not have been able to afford or want to do before, now you have that opportunity because you were able to compete
Right.
in the competition or the pageant, and you were able to win all of this scholarship money to help you, pursue a career or, fulfill your dreams. It's so amazing. And that's why I just
Yes.
love getting to, not only through my podcast, but just talking to people, getting to spread the message of all of these wonderful scholarship organizations. It's so incredible. But you mentioned, service and volunteering and passion projects and partnerships. So talk to us a little bit about your serve initiative if you have a specific one. And then how did you start it? What have you been able to do with it? And any other partnerships that, you have been able to accumulate as Miss Volunteer America.
Sure, absolutely. So my serve initiative as Miss Volunteer America is entitled Set the Pace for Inclusion, and it's something I've been really passionate about for a long time. So we cultivate relationships through the acceptance and celebration of our differences. And that's something that, again, is very close to my heart. I grew up in a military family, and so I've always wanted to bring people together, bring unity. Because of all the different places I've lived, I really realized that it was people who look differently, people who act differently that are often excluded for who they are. And so that's where my passion came from. And then couple that with the Miss Volunteer America crown. And I've been given these incredible opportunities of becoming a national brand ambassador for Salvation Army, which is another incredible organization that I'm super excited to serve throughout this year, as well as a national brand ambassador for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So those are two incredible opportunities that we have on a national level and two national partnerships that we're thrilled to have in the Miss Volunteer America program. So those are going to be where my focus is throughout this year. And one of the things that I did with my personal serve initiative, Set the Pace for Inclusion, as Miss South Carolina volunteer, and something that I hope to continue throughout my year as Miss Volunteer America, is a partnership with the DARE program. So DARE is the Drug Abuse Resistance Education Program. And once again, I was recognizing the need there. I was recognizing that it was often students who were excluded that were falling victim to peer pressure, falling victim to bullying. And so once again, I was kind of taking that partnership and really taking it to the next level. So I gave over 35 presentations as Miss South Carolina volunteer across the state in DARE classrooms alongside school resource officers. And I was able to celebrate them throughout my year of service. And then now on a national level, I'll be able to do the same. So I'm really excited. I actually just had a DARE visit in Virginia while I was at Miss Virginia Volunteer. So state organizations are really attaching to those passions of mine, which I'm really excited about. And they're wanting to give me those opportunities to take it to the next level, which I'm super thankful for. And once again, it just shows that the heart of this program really is volunteerism. That's what we're all about. And as Miss Volunteer America, I hope to continue to be a representative of that.
I think that's personally one of the things that I love most about the Miss Volunteer America organization. Not that other organizations, don't have the focus on that, but that is solely what
Sure.
this organization is about going into your community and doing things that you're passionate about and helping people, volunteering, volunteer work, volunteer hours, like serving your community is the true basis upon this organization. And it's so important, especially to me, because I love helping people. I love going out into the community and volunteering,
Yes.
even if it's something as simple as like making a sandwich to bring to a homeless shelter, or like you mentioned, going and speaking at a school, like a DARE program or something
Sure.
like that. It's so important, even the little things, to just go out and help in your community, because you never
Yeah.
know like who you can impact and who you can help. And I think that's just so important. And I hope more people that are listening to this are able to, get involved in the Miss Volunteer America organization. If you love to
Yes.
serve and you love to do community service and volunteer, definitely check it out, because
Yes.
we need more people. We need more people to, help out and volunteer for sure.
Absolutely. And I think that on that too, the whole idea of serving people is to put others before yourself, right? And so for me, that's something that I grew up on. Again, coming from a military family, it was instilled in me the core values of, for him it was the Air Force. So he was served in the Air Force for 20 years, and their core values were integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. And to me, Miss Volunteer America really identifies with those core values. And when I'll just give you a quick story. When I was in Virginia, I had the opportunity to visit with, once again, the Salvation Army of Roanoke while I was there, and one of their flagship programs. So flagship program is just something that specific Salvation Army is focusing on at the moment. And so for them, it was a shelter for human trafficking and domestic violence victims. And so it was really, really touching and special to be able to visit, and not only visit, but actually do something hands on. I feel like a lot of times we, as organizations, are writing a check and sending it off, or fundraising, or whatever it is, which is wonderful. And we still need to do that. But I think for our local title holders, our state title holders, and even for me as a national title holder, it is so, you really get a lot from seeing it in person and really being hands on with it, because for us, we were able to write cards, we were able to package care packages, and like really be in the moment there, which was super special. And I think something that a lot of other organizations across our state, or excuse me, across the nation, and all of our state organizations are going to kind of follow suit with that, because once again, you're really getting a lot from that service. And I think a lot of girls are really going to identify with that.
I 110% agree. And, like you mentioned, a lot of the state organizations are going to follow suit. And I know personally, from what I've seen, the Miss Connecticut Volunteer Organization has a lot of incredible, fundraisers and community service outreach events that we're very excited to, push forward and to kind of share with, not only the local title holders and state title holders in our organization, but also kind of like bring it forward to like the national level and you guys and Allison and everybody like that. And I'm very excited to see where all these things go because, like you
Yes.
mentioned, getting your hands dirty and getting involved in that
Yes.
volunteer work and that community service is second to none. And it's completely different than just, kind of uh, fundraising, like you mentioned, or things like that. So
Right.
it's it's very exciting to see, so many young women in the Miss Volunteer America organization kind of pushing that message of kind of like going out and volunteering is like normalizing it and really bringing it to the forefront of like you can help people, and if you love to help people, this is the place for you. And I absolutely adore
Yes.
that. But to get into some more fun questions, what was your favorite
Sure.
memory that you were able to make at the national competition at Miss Volunteer America this past year?
Oh my gosh, so many fun memories, but oh gosh, I could talk for days on this, so you'll have to cut me short. But I think the first memory that I made at Miss Volunteer America Week that I'll remember forever was watching Miss Congeniality with all the state title holders. So they actually take us on the bus after rehearsals. One of the very first nights, I think I had an interview the next morning. That's when interviews were starting. And so before the week kicks off, they take us to the movie theater and we all watch Miss Congeniality together. We get hot dogs, we get popcorn, we get candy, sodas, all the things. And that was the best time because we were able to really just get to know each other and enjoy the moment. It did not feel like a competition at all. And to be honest with you, the whole week didn't feel like a competition because we had all gotten so close. And months prior, a lot of us had attended the Miss Teen Volunteer America pageant in Jackson, Tennessee. And so we had already kind of formed those relationships and bonds. And so being able to kind of rekindle those during our own competition week was really special. And I'll remember that night forever at Miss watching the Miss Congeniality with all of those girls. We were just laughing until our bellies hurt. Like it was one of those kind of nights. And then once again, it takes the pressure off of the competition. And so throughout the week, we just carried that momentum throughout the week and that just really enjoying every moment of it. And that was something that I prioritized personally, even in my preparation for Miss Volunteer America, was really just soaking up the light, soaking up the moments, soaking up those relationships with those women, because everyone has worked so hard to get there. And so the last thing you want is to get there and let nerves and eagerness get the best of you, because I think at the end of the day, we're all going to be better because of it. And that's something, once again, that I really had to remind myself of every single day of the competition is that, look, we're all here for a reason and we're all forming these relationships and they're hopefully going to be ones that last a lifetime. I know I met some of my closest friends throughout that week and I'm super excited to see some of them throughout this year because I'm going to get to visit their state pageants. My roommate was Miss Hawaii Volunteer and her name was McKenna and I love her to death, and I'm actually going to get to go to Miss Hawaii Volunteer this year. So, so many wonderful opportunities thanks to the friendships of this organization.
The sisterhood competing in any organization, any pageant is so, so special. And I remember living vicariously through girls like you and through our Miss Connecticut Volunteer 2024 Talia, like getting to see all the fun events that you got to do, going to the movie theater and watching Miss Congeniality,
Yes.
having a PJ party, like all those fun and exciting events that you got to
Yes.
do. I loved getting to see that and, hopefully getting to be able to do that one day at Miss Volunteer America.
Yes.
But like you mentioned, like the little moments are the most important, and you have to soak everything in because, especially at a national competition, as I experienced in January at Miss America's teen, and obviously you experienced this past
Yeah.
at Miss Volunteer America, there's so much happening all at once, and you have to really just kind of like
Yes.
take in every single moment because if you blink, you're gonna miss it. It's gonna be over. So really getting to form those connections during the downtime of rehearsals or events that we were having and getting to really just kind of connect with your sisters who, like you mentioned, are going to be some of your best friends for life. It's such a special
Yes.
experience, not only, again, getting to go to a national competition and competing, but getting to form those bonds and really make
Yes.
connections with girls that are going to be your sisters and a part of your national class and
Right.
ultimately your best friends for life. It's second to none, and I love getting to hear everybody share their sisterhood experiences and their
Yes.
stories, getting to make those connections. It's just warms my heart. But to keep up
Yeah.
with the favorites, what is your favorite point of the Miss Volunteer America crown, and why is that your favorite?
So, for those listening that may not know what the points of the crown are in Miss Volunteer America, it stands for SERVE. So it's scholarship, education, responsibility, volunteerism, and empowerment. And I feel like each of them carry equal weight in my heart. But for me, what I get the most out of is empowerment. And I feel like for us, we all really are striving to empower young women to believe in themselves and believe in their dreams. And it's really one of the reasons why I got involved in Miss Volunteer America was to empower young women to pursue those dreams. And it's something that I've said many times. And if you were watching Miss Volunteer America, you may have heard it in my onstage question, but it's something that's held so true to kind of the legacy that I want to leave as Miss Volunteer America. And I said, here's to being a trailblazer for the little girls out there that may need to be reminded that they're more than enough. And that's kind of been my mantra, if you will, ever since I decided to compete for Miss South Carolina Volunteer, because I really do believe that the next generation is going to fall in love with Miss Volunteer America and really see themselves in that role because of everything that we bring to the table, not only as title holders, but what we bring to the table as women, as people, and as a part of something bigger than ourselves. And so that's what I hope to empower young women throughout this year as Miss Volunteer America, and ultimately let that be a huge part of my legacy.
That is such a wonderful, thought process, especially according to your legacy, you determine what you do during your year and how you want to be perceived and ultimately your legacy. So, leaving a legacy of empowering and inspiring young girls to kind of follow their dreams and believe in themselves and really get out into their community is so, so important. And that's something that I wanted to do and leave as my legacy after I gave up my title as Miss Connecticut's teen this past year was I loved getting to go to all of the events and, meet new people, form new connections, getting to compete and represent my state at the national competition. But what was most important to me and what I really wanted people to see was not only my passion for everything that I was doing, but also getting to empower and inspire, like you mentioned, the next generation of young girls who are looking up to you starry eyed and
That's so
oh my gosh,
awesome.
this is a princess. Like it's Miss America. Like getting to really inspire those girls and tell
Yes.
my story of how, the first couple of years I competed, I got those no's that we talked about before, but then I got my yes and I found my reason why and I really put my all into everything and getting to share that, you can have a dream and you can achieve it. I started in the Miss America opportunity in the Miss America program when I was 12. I was a Connecticut princess, what they called it at the time, now the Little Sister program. And I worked my way up and I really worked hard and was determined to, win a state title and really show my passion for everything that I was doing. And I achieved that dream. So if you have a dream, you can achieve it and you can do anything that your mind sets you to. And I love that, not only us two, but a whole bunch of other girls really want to leave that as their legacy of really getting to showcase and inspire young girls that you can do this. You can not only be a hardworking student in school and getting your hands dirty in community service, but you can also be that princess that you always dreamed of being growing up. It's so special. I love that you were able to share that. But to keep on with the favorites, what is your favorite phase of competition and why?
Oh, I love this question. So, one of the reasons that I got involved in pageantry at all was because of dance. And so I grew up a dancer, and it was actually a dance teacher of mine that recommended pageantry to me. They were like, "Look, Berkeley, you have a talent, and you can also earn scholarship money." And so those were the two main reasons why I got involved in pageantry to begin with. So naturally, talent has become one of my favorite portions of the competition. But I feel like also the interview portion is something that a lot of young women fear. But for me, I saw it as an opportunity to get better, right? I saw it as an opportunity to prepare myself. I consider it job readiness skills. I consider it life skills it's something you can carry with you throughout your life, whether you're going into high school, whether you're going in college, whether you're applying for the next job opportunity. These interview skills are going to carry with you, and coupled with talent, those are two of my favorites. And I mean, who doesn't love evening gown? I feel like being glamorous on a stage, come on, it's hard to beat having your moment on that stage. And just to speak to all the portions of competition, I know you asked what my favorite is, so I think the answer is definitely talent. But I do want to dive into each of those, like I said. So interview obviously prepares you for jobs, prepares you for life. I really do believe that, and those judges also get to know your heart and get to know your why. So those to me are really, really important. Evening gown and swimsuit are the two quote unquote stage elements that a lot of people think about when it comes to pageantry, right? And so with evening gown, we talked about it. Who doesn't love walking down the runway in a beautiful gown that you've selected and all those things? I got to compete in a Sherry Hill Couture evening gown, and had always been a dream of mine. I love Miss Sherry so much, and I'm super grateful for the opportunity to work with her. She's one of our national sponsors, or our national sponsor as Miss Volunteer America. So we're super grateful for her. And on fitness and wellness is what we call our swimsuit phase of competition. It's one of those things where it actually was only my second time competing in fitness and wellness ever on a stage. And so this my state competition was the first time I'd worn a swimsuit on the stage, and then nationals was the second time. And honestly, the growth I saw in myself from the first to the last was incredible. And it's not in terms of how my body looked or how I walked. It was really more of my confidence and the happiness that I felt in that moment. And I tell girls this all the time: once you've done it once, you can do it a million times over, and it'll become one of your favorite things to do, because there's something so empowering about stepping on stage, knowing you've worked so hard for that moment. And I really learned a lot about my fitness journey and growing up as a dancer. And of course, I graduated in May of 23. I danced throughout college. And so finding what fitness and wellness looked like for me as an almost 24-year-old was really enjoyable, and something that I loved about the preparation process for Miss Volunteer America. And we also have incredible sponsors like Morgan Fitness, who prepared me for the national competition and even the state competition. But I always say she didn't just prepare me for the stage, she prepared me for life. And she taught me things that will ultimately help my fitness and wellness journey long after pageantry. And it wasn't just to stand up there in a swimsuit and look a certain way. It was a feeling. I've truly never felt more fit, more happy, and more healthy than I did at the moment. I know there's a lot of scrutiny that comes along with wearing a swimsuit on the stage, and so it takes a lot of confidence to be able to stand there confidently in that moment. And I'm super grateful for people like Morgan, who inspired me to work hard, and not just work hard for the swimsuit, work hard for life.
I 110% agree with you. You know, sometimes it's really hard to choose a favorite phase of competition because there's so many great ones, obviously. But, you know, I agree with you. You know, talent
Yes.
is another thing that brought me into competing in pageantry. But similar to you, I actually am a tap dancer as well. So I absolutely love the
No
tap dance.
way.
Yes, yes. I grew up, you know, dancing pretty much my entire life, competitive dancer for 16 years now, and tap has always been my favorite and personally my best style. So getting to, you know, fulfill a dream of competing on a stage, especially at nationals in front of thousands of people, something that again I dreamed of as a little kid, especially doing tap dance was so so amazing. But all the phases of competition are
That's
just
awesome.
so hard to beat, and I agree with you, you know, getting to really showcase all of those, especially for you as a national title holder, it helps to kind of lessen the stigmas around, you know, swimsuit or health and fitness like you mentioned, or interview and things like that. But that does bring us to the last question of this little chat that we've been able to have. So really quickly, if you have any advice to any girls who are preparing to compete in their local, state, or national competitions, please do share with us that advice.
So I always say that your biggest critic is always going to be yourself, right? And so if you can inspire yourself to give it everything that you have and not have any thought of what someone may think of you, just go with your full heart. Because I feel like for me, one of the comments that a lot of people gave me after Miss Volunteer America, and it wasn't just because of the crowning moment and the win, it was throughout the week. It was messages I was getting like, Berkeley, you look so happy. Berkeley, you're just, glowing. That those were kind of the comments that I was getting from friends, from family, from people that have followed me for a long time. Even people that I didn't even know that had been following me for a long time. They just said, "You look so happy." And I feel like my biggest piece of advice is to just soak in the light when you're on the stage, when you're competing in a competition, in a pageant. Soak it in, because the judges, the audience, everyone feels that energy. And truth be told, I really was the happiest I'd ever been when I was at Miss Volunteer America. And I really think that it's because of the organization I was a part of, and the purpose that I had in being there. I always say that God puts you in places where you need to be when you need to be there. And I'm a firm believer in that. And I hope to inspire young women to really hold true to that, and know that you can achieve anything that you set your mind to.
Well, that was this episode of Titleholder Talks with Emily, all complete. I hope you enjoyed getting to hear all of Berkeley's wonderful stories and experiences, because I know I did, especially as one of her supporters throughout all the years that she has been competing. This podcast will be going live on Spotify and YouTube at Titleholder Talks with Emily, and I will be posting clips from this episode, previous episodes, and future episodes on my Instagram at Titleholder Talks with Emily. See you in the next one.